If you ever find yourself wondering if you have enough income to last throughout retirement, then this is the module for you. My name's Paul Durso, and this is Mastering the Art of Financial Planning. We're going to be talking today about income planning. We're going to do a high overview in the beginning about different aspects of income planning. And then when we're done with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a retirement plan to show you the effectiveness of really good income planning. And then we're going to talk about knowing whether or not you're on track by looking at your actual investment statements from your brokerage house or your custodian. So we're going to jump right in. Okay, income planning. The first thing I want to talk about is pension income. Most of us today don't get a pension. For those of you out there who do get one, we are super jealous of you. But if you don't have one and you want to understand what one is, pension income is really just a stream of income. It's another form of an annuity. I know a lot of people out there don't like annuities for this, that, and another thing. One of the most misrepresented in investments in America today, I think I've said that on some other videos, but a pension is just a form of a stream of income, otherwise known as an annuity. It is backed by the full faith and credit of the company that is offering it. Sometimes there can be an insuring company that'll back it, and then there's some governmental protections, but those aren't very, very good if you have to rely on those. But pensions, for the most part, are pretty secure. They pay very high distribution rates, which means they're very good. That's why there's a stress on defaults on the pension income or pension amounts in America today, because they pay so good, and a lot of companies are having a hard time keeping up with the performance behind it. But if you are fortunate enough to get a pension out there, you know, we're so jealous of you. Next thing that we want to talk about is Social Security. So the two biggest forms of retirement income outside of investment income are going to be pension and Social Security. There's some concerns about Social Security on whether or not it's going to be solvent or it's going to be around for the rest of your retirement. In addition to that, there's also some strategizing on how to maximize Social Security. When's the best time to take it? When should you turn it on? Are there any strategies that you can implement? One of the things I want to talk to you about is this chart right here, which may help you understand, if you take it early versus wait and take it late, what you can expect to receive. So we're just assuming right here at age that 66 is your normal retirement age. Now, for some of you out there, it might be 68. Some of you, it might have been 65, depending on when you were born. But if your normal retirement age was smack the day you turned 66, then that's going to be your full Social Security. So if somebody says, what's your full Social Security? It's basically the age of which you're eligible. In this example, it's 66. Now, if you were to take it early at 62, it would actually be a 25% reduction of your full Social Security. And every single month that you get closer to your full Social Security, it goes up slightly. If you turn it on at 63, it'd be 20%, 64, 13, 65, 6.5% reduction. And again, those slightly increments every month, every day that you wait to turn it on. And then if you go past your full retirement, you're going to see on the top side of this chart, it's going to grow 8, 16, 24, and 32% in addition to what it was at full Social Security. Now, there are some strategies on how you can increase, but a few years ago, the government kind of stepped in and took most of those away. So a lot of the strategies that have been in the marketplace for the past several years that have really taken some traction, file and suspend, and so forth, those have been taken away. Now it's really just an understanding of when are you going to retire, what's your Social Security going to be, are there other assets that you can backfill if you want to hold on and wait a little bit longer before you take Social Security. It's really kind of an art trying to figure out when's the best time to take it. The best way to do that, in my opinion, is to put it down on paper and really look through the plan and seeing firsthand the pros and cons of waiting, taking it early, and seeing what's the best benefit for you in your future. Another thing that we want to talk about is the taxability of your Social Security. And if you don't know how it's taxed, let me quickly go over it. I'm really just going to talk about married couples out there. If you are single, you can see up top how your Social Security is going to be taxed. I just want to very quickly talk about how it's taxed at the married level. If your total income for Social Security purposes, you take half of your Social Security income, so if you're receiving $20,000 Social Security income, you take $10,000, and all other forms of income, and you add them together. So if you add all those incomes together, half of your Social Security, all of the forms, and it's less than $32,000, there's no tax on Social Security, zero. If it's between $32,000 and $44,000, then you're going to claim and pay tax on 50% of your Social Security. So if you're receiving $20,000, you're going to claim $10,000 at 50% of it, and then it's going to hit your tax bracket. If you make more than $44,000, which is probably the vast majority of you out there, then you're going to claim 85% of your Social Security. So you're going to take 85% of it. If it was $10,000, it's going to be $8,500, and you're going to apply that to whatever tax bracket and pay tax at that level. So it's not 100% taxable. You will always get at least 15% of your Social Security benefit at no tax, and depending on your income and how it's coming in and the taxability of that, it could be up to 85% taxable or completely tax-free. Really depends on your income. Before we jump into investment income, two big issues that are out there that scare you and me. And it's a two-headed dragon. The first one is inflation. If you look at inflation, it is one of the income and retirement killers. You might retire at 60, 62, 70, whatever you're deciding to retire, and go, hey, I've got plenty of money coming in, but little do you know, by the time you're 5 years, 10 years into retirement, this little known reality starts to settle in, or widely known, but not really accounted for, inflation. We all talk about like we understand it, but the reality is this tends to be one of the biggest killers in retirement. And if you look at the historical chart of inflation and you go way back 100 years ago, I can tell you historically inflation grows at about 3.321% per year. That means every 20 years in retirement, you're going to have to double your money. So if you're retiring on $100,000 20 years from now, you're going to need $200,000 of retirement assets to live the exact same lifestyle. That means cars are going to double in price. That means movie tickets are going to double. Milk, groceries, everything, gas is going to double in price roughly every 20 years. That's a scary thing. You know, I'm kind of jealous for those of you out there who get pensions, but pensions are fixed. So if you have a pension is $32,000, which is great, but it's always $32,000. It doesn't increase, and that's the vast majority of pensions out there. Whatever the values are, very few, literally probably less than 5% of pensions in America today actually increase in value. And this chart right here actually goes through historically what movie tickets were yesterday, 20 years ago, what they're roughly today. Movie tickets really jumped here in the last couple of years. But when we put this together, movie tickets on average across America were about $8. 20 years ago, they were $4. And moving to tomorrow, they're probably going to be around $16 a ticket, which today they're not that far off. This chart wasn't put together that long ago, and we're already creeping into this 15 because there's different levels of movie tickets today. You can still get a ticket for $8, but you can also spend $18 on movies today. Another thing we want to talk about, another one of the issues that before we jump into investment income is taxation. And that's the other head of the two-headed dragon, which are going to be the biggest issues that you have to deal with over the rest of your retirement. The first is inflation, or 3.321, and how to overcome that, which we're going to talk about. And the second one is taxation, which isn't on the screen, but taxation is another one which Uncle Sam completely controls how much money that you get to keep of your tax-deferred IRAs and 401ks, and he can control how much you get to keep of all other forms, Social Security, pension, what have you, anything that you're already receiving. He can change the rules at any time, and determine what you get to keep from what you're actually making. So having a strategic plan to account for all of this really relies on how you're going to handle your investment income. Because your investment income really is derived from your nest egg. Your nest egg is going to determine your ability to keep up with inflation, to keep up with taxation over the rest of your life. And I know there's a lot of other concerns out there, long-term care, health costs. A lot of those we dealt with in our retirement roadblocks or retirement concerns module. We're not dealing with those today, but all of those things that are concerning you can be addressed by making sure that your investment income is set up in a way that can offset any and all of the unknowns out there. Now, I know we don't know what those unknowns are going to be and what they're going to cost, but how you structure and how you set up your investment income will make or break your confidence in your ability to last any and all obstacles that come your way. We are going to quickly jump into a retirement plan from Simplicity. And what I'm going to do right quick is I'm going to go through this plan so I can help you understand firsthand how investment income will make or break your ability to overcome any obstacles in your way. Because again, if you look at your pension and Social Security, if you're going to get a pension and your Social Security, that's just going to represent a portion of your retirement income. Everything else typically is going to come from your investment income. So this is a sample plan. This is an individual that wants to live on $100,000 of retirement income. They roughly, in investment assets, have about $1 million, a little over $1 million, just under $1.1 million. One of the things that I want to note about this is that if you just look at their income plan, which I'm going to show you, they need about 3.5% rate of return to make everything work. And a quick refresh of that, if you look at the fact that they want to live on $100,000 of retirement income, they do get a pension and some rental income. They have one rental property and they do have a pension, and they will get Social Security together. If you look at all of that, it represents about $70,000 of the retirement income. The rest, the other $30,000, what you're going to see in the red here. Red is danger, red is concerning. And it's red here on purpose because we want you to know, and all of our clients to know, if you see red in your income plan, it has to be addressed. You know, whether you decide to do your own investments or hire a professional, when you're planning your retirement income, if there's a need to drive investment income, it has to be taken care of. How you take care of it can be really planned out a million different ways, but this has to be addressed. And in this particular plan, 54% of their retirement income is already accounted for. They've done a fabulous job. Most of you out there have done a very good job in creating some retirement income, whether it be adding some Social Security, and again, if you have a pension, some rental properties, or any income that's going to come in retirement outside of your nest egg that's being generated, that's going to count towards the cumulative income need that you've already accounted for. In this example, it's 54%, which means the other 46% has to be generated from their nest egg. And going back to that 3.5% rate of return, if this person makes 3.5% rate of return, they're never going to have to worry about running out of money as long as they make that 3.5% rate of return. Now, with effective planning, I believe, and I actually know, that we can reduce their retirement rate. And what I did is I put together an investment plan for this person, which I'm going to show you very quickly. And what I actually put their money to work. Our office puts out some educational videos very similar to this class, but we do them a little bit different. And one of the most recent videos we put out is, if you want to retire, you need to put your money to work. And one thing I've learned in my career, that somebody or something has to work for income. It's either going to be you or it's going to be your money. Either one has to work. So if you're going to retire, you need to put your money to work. So what I did here is I put their money to work so they could retire. And what that means is we're investing in a way that they're going to drive income. If you have investments and they're not driving income, that can be a very big concern. because the growth of the market can be robbed in an instant. I liken this to working in a great environment and a poor environment. Let's just say your boss can make or break your job. You might have a boss that you absolutely love, and every day is a joy to come to work because that person makes your job enjoyable, and the environment around your company is wonderful because of the leadership you have over you. Conversely, you might have a bad boss in your job that just makes the environment and everything around it horrible, and you dread going into the office every single day. Either way, whether you have a very good scenario or you have a very bad scenario, you get paid. Your environment does not make or break your paycheck. You make or break your paycheck. If you go into work, you get paid. If you do not go into work, you do not get paid. That's what happens when we're working. And you know what? If you have an investment and it's invested in the stock market, which we're going to talk about, the environment of the stock market is good, you're happy. If it's bad, you're sad. Either way, you should be getting paid. If you're not getting paid by your investments, you have not put them to work. So what I'm actually going to show you here is a dividend strategy where we're investing in stocks that pay a dividend. A very simple strategy. We're not going to go over any other form of investment. We're just going to invest this money in a place that's going to drive a dividend. And now it's happening, if you look at their actual investment plan, okay, one thing that you remember is they had a concern of income. If we look back at their base plan, when we're looking at their investments, remember they wanted to live on $100,000 of retirement income. 56% of the retirement income is already accounted for. They desire to live on $100,000. They need to generate about $30,000 of retirement income per year plus cost of living increases. That represents 44% of their actual retirement income for the rest of their life. So with effective planning here, with literally just a dividend strategy, one thing that I'm going to point out to you is we've accounted not only for the 44%, but we gave them a 12% buffer, and no more are you going to see any red in their retirement plan for the rest of their retirement. And that's just very simple strategy going to work. You can do a lot more elaborate strategies and truly have a bigger buffer. We've got some clients that have over 200% buffer of retirement income. Well, that's just because they have a low lifestyle and a lot of assets, but no matter who you are out there, this will give you the confidence that you have as much income as you need or even more than you need. So, if you have an investment statement and you're trying to figure out if you're on track or if you're generating retirement income to help with your cumulative income need, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to look on your statement and understand whether or not you're actually driving investment income. Now, our custodian's Charles Schwab, so I'm going to use a Charles Schwab statement. This statement is from February of this year. This account has roughly $500,000, a little over $500,000 of assets in it right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to go to, and if you're going to notice some black marks, it's because this is an actual portfolio of ours, and we're not giving away what assets or what stocks that we have in our dividend portfolio. But one thing I do want to note is right here in this gray bar, what I want to show you on their statements, what you're going to see is the equities that you do own. You might have mutual funds, ETFs, who knows what you have, and your statements, you know what you have, and that's going to be listed typically on the left side of your statement. And then going to the right side, you're going to have how many shares you own, what the market price of those shares are, and then you're going to go all the way to realized gain or loss. And then on our statement, we have two columns to the right that in my opinion are the most important. We've got estimated yield and estimated annual income. That estimated annual income is the most important column on this statement. We have a bias every single time, we as in all of us Every single person who invests in America has a bias when we look at these statements. What's the very first thing you look at when you look at your statement? Now, if you are like almost 100% of the ones out there who answered that question, you're going to say, my balance. How much money? How is it done? How have I performed? And that's in the middle column or on the first or second page of your statement, and you're instantly going to lock in to that value and go, how have I done? Even more importantly is this estimated annual income, because this is going to help you to understand if your money's working hard or not. The value can go up or down, and one of the things about a dividend portfolio is even though the value can go down, you can continue to get steady income because dividends don't pay off of the share price, they pay off of every share you own. So as long as you're not selling shares, your dividends are going to stay level or maybe even go up depending on the quality of the stock that you have. So in this particular statement, you're going to see that there's $14,578 generated from their equities, and there's some more other equities down here that generates another $11,400, which is about $26,000 of dividend income. Again, on a $500,000 portfolio, that's generating 5% roughly of income a year. The account balance can go down. It could go down to 450, 400, 350, and it's still going to generate dividend income. The only way it won't is if these companies don't pay. This is not a recommendation for dividend income. It's an explanation of how dividends work. And if you know what you're making on your estimated annual income column, you can go back to your plan and go, is that what I need? Is it not enough? Am I on track? I'm just trying to help you understand. You can look at your statements, write on your statements, go, this is what I need to understand, apply that back to your plan, and know exactly whether or not you're making enough. Education empowers your future. And if you know what to look at and how to look at it, you're going to do amazing things in retirement. And guess what? You're going to sleep at night. You're not going to be worried or concerned that you're going to run out of money because you have everything planned. People in America today are not planning effectively, they're not investing efficiently, and they're just scared to death. You don't deserve to fall into that category. If you have an effective plan with effective income, then you're going to sleep at night and not worry about running out of money. So hopefully today you've enjoyed this module of income planning. Plenty more to come. Thank you for joining us today.